My name is Daniel Harper, and until that night, I believed the world was simple. You are born, you live, you die. Nothing in between. I was wrong. It happened on a cold October evening when fog swallowed the streets of my town. I had just left the hospital where my friend Michael worked as a night nurse. We argued that evening about life, about fear, about what waits after death. He laughed and said, "One day you'll find out sooner than you think." I walked home through the old park, the one people avoided after dark. My phone died. The fog thickened until I could barely see my hands. Then I heard a whisper. "Daniel!" I turned, but no one was there. The air grew heavy, like water pressing against my chest. My heart pounded. I tried to run, but the ground felt soft, unreal. The trees bent inward as if watching me. Suddenly the world cracked. Not with sound, but with light, silver and pale blue, like moonlight breaking through glass. I stumbled forward and fell. I expected pain. Instead, I felt nothing at all. When I opened my eyes, the fog was gone. The sky was dark purple, filled with slow-moving stars. The trees were tall and transparent, glowing softly from inside. I stood up, shaking. "Okay, this is not normal," I whispered. A figure appeared ahead of me, a woman in a long gray coat. Her hair floated as if underwater. She looked young, but her eyes were ancient. "You crossed by accident," she said calmly. "Crossed where?" I asked. She tilted her head. "To the spirit realm. My name is Lyra. And you, living one, do not belong here." Lyra walked without touching the ground. I followed, unsure if my feet even mattered anymore. The land shimmered, changing with every step, fields becoming rivers, ruins becoming forests. "Why am I here?" I asked. "Because you stood at a thin place," she replied, "between life and death, and you listened when you should not have." "Listened to what?" She stopped and faced me. "The call of the lost." We reached a city made of pale stone and light. Spirits moved silently through it. Men, women, children. Some looked whole. Others were broken, missing faces, fading bodies, empty eyes. "They are souls," Lyra said. "Some remember who they were, some forget." A tall man approached us, wearing old military clothes. His face was calm but tired. "This is Aaron," Lyra said. "A guide like me." Aaron studied me. "A living soul. Rare." "Can I go back?" I asked. Aaron shook his head slowly. "Not yet. You must balance the crossing. A life entered without permission. Something must be given in return." "What does that mean?" Lyra looked away. "It means the realm will not release you until you help it." A bell rang across the sky, deep and sad. "That is the call of the forgotten," Aaron said. "Those who are losing themselves. If they vanish, they become shadows forever." Lyra placed her hand on my arm. "Daniel, you must help us find them." We traveled to a ruined village at the edge of the spirit world. Houses stood broken, half melted into mist. Shadows crawled across the ground. "This is where forgotten gather," Aaron said. I felt cold, not on my skin, but in my thoughts. Memories of my life flickered. My mother's smile, Michael's laugh, my childhood home. "Don't let go of who you are," Lyra warned. "They feed on forgetting." We found a boy sitting alone near a broken well. He looked about 10 years old. "What's your name?" I asked gently. He stared at me. I don't know." Lyra knelt beside him. "Do you remember anything? A song? A face?" He shook his head. Shadows moved closer. I panicked. Then I remembered something my mother used to sing. I began to sing softly. The boy's eyes widened. My sister sang that." "What was her name?" I asked. "Anna," he whispered. The shadows screamed and pulled back. The boy's form grew brighter. "My name is Eli," he said. "I died in a fire." Lyra smiled with relief. "You are remembered. You are safe." Light surrounded Eli, and he vanished peacefully. Aaron placed a hand on my shoulder. "You saved him." I didn't feel proud. I felt terrified, because I realized something. Every time I saved a spirit, I felt a part of myself growing weaker. After Eli, more forgotten appeared. A woman named Mara, who forgot her child's face. An old man named Victor, who forgot his own voice. Each time I helped them remember, I lost something. I forgot the smell of rain. I forgot my favorite food. I forgot the sound of Michael's laughter. "Stop!" I told Lyra one night. "I'm disappearing." She looked broken. "I didn't know it would be this fast." Aaron confessed the truth. "The realm takes memories from the living." That is the price. So I die here? I asked. Not die, he said quietly. Fade. I grew angry. You used me. Lyra fell to her knees. I'm sorry, but if the forgotten vanish, the realm collapses into shadows. Then both worlds suffer. I had to choose, save myself or save countless lost souls. That night I dreamed of my mother's face, but I couldn't remember her name. I woke up screaming. I'll finish this, I said. But then I'm going home. Aaron nodded. There is one last place, the Heart of Shadows. The Heart of Shadows was a black tower floating above nothing. No stars, no ground, just endless dark. This is where forgotten become shadows forever, Aaron said. Inside, the air whispered. Faces formed in the walls, crying, begging. At the center stood a figure made of darkness. It had no face, only voices. I am Morlin, it said. I am forgetting itself. You're stealing them, I said. They give themselves, Morlin replied. When memory hurts too much, I stepped forward. Take mine instead. Let them go, Lyra shouted. Daniel, no! Morlin reached into my chest. I felt my past tearing away. My childhood, my friends, my name. I fell to my knees. I couldn't remember why I was here. Then I heard a voice. Daniel! It was Michael. I saw him standing beyond the shadows, reaching for me. You always said you were afraid of dying. Don't be afraid of living. I remembered my name. I screamed it. Light exploded from me. The tower cracked. The shadows burned away. Morlin vanished with a sound like breaking glass. The spirits were free. Light spread through the realm like dawn after endless night. Where darkness once ruled, soft colors now flowed. Gold, blue, and pale green. The air no longer whispered in pain. It sang. I could barely stand. Every breath felt heavy, like my chest was filled with water instead of air. My hands were shaking, and when I looked at them, they seemed slightly transparent. Lyra ran to me and caught me before I fell. Her arms felt warm, warmer than anything in that cold world. You did it, she whispered, tears of light falling from her eyes. You saved them all. I don't feel like a hero, I said weakly. I feel like I'm fading. Aaron approached slowly. Even he looked changed, brighter, more solid. The balance is restored, he said. But the price has already been paid. You cannot stay. A path of light began to form behind me. It stretched into the distance, ending at a tall door made of moving memories. Faces, voices, moments of my life. That is your way back, Aaron said. The longer you remain here, the less of you will exist. I looked at Lyra. Come with me. She smiled, but there was deep sadness in her eyes. I cannot. I belong to this realm now, just as you belong to the living. I felt something break inside my chest. Then don't disappear from me. Stay in my memory. She touched my face gently. That is the cruel truth, Daniel. To live fully, you must forget this place. If you remember too much, part of you will always remain here. I don't want to forget you, I said. I know, she replied softly. But love is not always about remembering. Sometimes it is about letting go so the other can live. I stepped toward the door, but every step felt like tearing myself in half. I turned back again and again, afraid that if I blinked, she would vanish. Will I ever see you again? I asked. Lyra looked at the sky of the spirit world. When your life truly ends, if your heart is still kind, I will be there. The door began to pull me in. Daniel, she called. I looked back one last time. Thank you for choosing us. Light swallowed me. I felt weight, pain, sound, voices shouting. I woke up screaming. Bright hospital lights burned my eyes. Machines beeped around me. My body felt heavy, real, painful. Michael grabbed my hand. You collapsed in the park. You were barely breathing. I tried to speak, to tell him everything, but the words slipped away. Every sentence broke apart in my mind. There was a woman, a promise, a world of light. But I couldn't reach them. Tears ran down my face, and I didn't know why. I whispered. I forgot something important. Weeks passed. My body healed faster than my mind. Doctors said stress, shock, maybe a seizure. They asked questions I couldn't answer. Life slowly returned to normal. I went back to work. I laughed at jokes. I walked the same streets. But something in me felt thinner, like a page had been torn from my soul. Sometimes, when fog covered the park, my chest tightened. I felt watched, not by danger, but by something gentle. At night, I dreamed. A woman with silver eyes stood in the mist. She never spoke. She only looked at me with a sadness that felt older than time. I always woke up with tears on my face, Michael noticed. You're not the same, he said one evening. You used to be afraid of dying. Now you talk like someone who's already been there. I thought about that. I don't fear death anymore, I said, but I fear forgetting. Because forgetting feels like dying while you're still alive. Some days memories slip through my fingers. Not big things, just small pieces. Songs I used to love. Smells that once meant home. Faces that feel familiar but have no names. And yet, something inside me remembers what my mind cannot. When I help someone, my heart feels lighter. When I see a lost child, I feel a strange urge to kneel and speak gently, like I once saved someone long ago. Sometimes, when fog thickens and the world grows quiet, I whisper without knowing why. I'm still here, and in those moments, the air feels warmer, softer, like someone is listening. I don't know her name, I don't know her face clearly, but I know she is waiting. And when my final night comes, when I step into that fog for the last time, I believe I will not be afraid, because deep in my soul, where memory cannot reach, something still remembers her. And I know that when I cross again, this time not by accident, she will be there. She will look at me with silver eyes, and she will say, "You crossed once by mistake. This time you came home." Before my body fully healed, strange things happened. Once, on a quiet morning, I saw an old man standing in the middle of the road. Cars passed through him like mist. He looked straight at me and nodded, as if he knew me. When I blinked, he was gone, but the feeling he left behind stayed with me all day, like a warm hand on my shoulder. Another night, I heard a child crying near my apartment. I went outside and found no one, only a small wooden toy lying on the ground. I picked it up, and for a second I saw flames, smoke, and a boy's face smiling at me with gratitude. Then everything vanished. I left the toy in the park, hoping whoever it belonged to could finally rest. I began writing down these moments in a notebook. Not stories, just feelings. Words like light, fog, waiting, warmth, promise. I didn't know what they meant, but they felt important, like keys to a door I could no longer see. Sometimes I wondered if Lyra could feel me, the way I felt her. If somewhere beyond the fog she smiled when I helped someone, even without knowing why. One evening, Michael and I sat on a bench in the same park where everything had begun. "You ever think," he said, "that some people are meant to touch more than one world?" I looked at the fog rolling slowly between the trees. "I think some worlds touch us first," he laughed. "You're getting poetic." Maybe I was. Or maybe I was remembering without memories. As years pass, I know I will forget more small things. That's what being human means. But I also know something else. Not all memory lives in the mind. Some of it lives in kindness, in choices, in the way you look at someone who is lost. If Lyra ever sees me again, I hope she won't need me to remember her name. I hope she will recognize me by the way my soul walks toward her, without fear, without doubt, like someone finally returning to a place they never truly left.